welcome to my program Book Review. Friends, the title of the book today is The Clicking of Cuthbert. The Clicking of Cuthbert is a collection of 10 short stories by P.G. Wodehouse, in full, Sir Pelham Grenville Wodehouse. All the stories have a golfing theme. It was first published in United Kingdom on 3rd February 1922 by Herbert Jenkins Ltd of London. Later it was published in the United States by George H. Doran of New York on 28th May 1924 under the title Golf Without Tears. These short stories were originally published in magazines between 1919 and 1922. There are some minor differences between the two editions, chiefly the names of characters, places, and the famous golfers, which are adapted to suit the country of publication. Sir P.G. Wodehouse, lifespan 15th October 1881 to 14th February 1975, was an English author and one of the most widely read humorists of the 20th century. Born in Guildford, southern England, the third son of a British magistrate based in Hong Kong, Wodehouse spent happy teenage years at Dulwich College, to which he remained devoted all his life. After leaving school, he was employed by a bank, but disliked the work and turned to writing in his spare time. His early novels were mostly school stories, but he later switched to comic fiction, creating several regular characters who became familiar to public over the years. And comic fiction is extremely difficult to write, friends. They include the feather-brained Bertie Wooster and his sagacious valet Jeeves, the immaculate and loquacious Smith, Lord Emsworth, and the Blandings Castle. Wodehouse has created a character termed the oldest member of a golf club with varying names. He is a fictional character from the short stories and novels of the author. He narrates the majority of Wodehouse's golf stories from the terrace of a golf club, whose location is not very clear. The location and name of the club keep changing between the stories and between the US and the UK versions of the stories. The oldest member narrates stories about golf with tall tales and subjects ranging from bibulous bishops to megalomaniac movie moguls. Then you have Mr. Mulliner, who is a fictional character again from the short stories of P.G. Wodehouse. Now, Mr. Mulliner again is a loquacious pub raconteur who, no matter what the topic of the conversation is, can find an appropriate story about a member of his family to match it. Most of Wodehouse's fiction is set in his native United Kingdom, although he spent much of his life in the US and used New York and Hollywood as settings for some of his novels and short stories. He wrote a series of Broadway musical comedies during and after the First World War. In 1930, he also wrote for MGM Hollywood. Now, coming to this book, there are in all 10 stories. First story in the collection introduces the oldest member, a repeat Wodehouse character who narrates all but the last story. Let me quickly enumerate the titles of these stories. First one is The Clicking of Cuthbert. Second is A Woman is Only a Woman. Third is A Mixed Threesome. Then you have Sundered Hearts, The Salvation of George Mackintosh, Ordeal by Golf, The Long Hole, The Heel of Achilles, The Rough Stuff, and the 10th one is The Coming of Gough. Friends, all the 10 stories are just hilarious with very sharp wit and high on vocabulary for an average reader. The story that I liked the most was Heel of Achilles. The setting of each story is around the links of a golf course that refreshes your mood, especially if you are into golf. The way he has dissected the game of golf and its components, the male, female, and star players, the caddies and their moods, and their hunches and superstitions are par excellence. And how sweetly and politely he has bantered about the Russians is not at all offending. One of his characters describes the game as this beast of a game that is only fit for lunatics. In one of the stories, he uses the name Gangadin, who happens to be a famous character in one of Rudyard Kipling's famous poem Gangadin. He makes an interesting contemporaneous analogy when a golfer misses a shot and goes on to say that he then stands there motionless, wrapped in thoughts like some Indian fakir, thus bringing out a golfer's emotions. He describes the usage of clubs, iron, driver, niblicks, drives, mashy shots, and putts so very precisely. The combination he uses for a foursome game are quite well thought of. And can you beat this when P.G. Wodehouse says that there are 23 things possible for a golf drive to go wrong. Surely he must have been a good student of golf to register this. He brings in ladies into the script very effortlessly, and the description of the golf club canteen makes one go hungry. That spread of omelette, poached eggs, lemonade and coffee really takes you amid the real food. Friends, just in case you are not a golfer, this book will give you a real feel of the game. The other book that takes you close to golf is James Bond's Goldfinger by Ian Fleming. We definitely won't have another P.G. Wodehouse, so find an opportunity to read his works even when it's nearing a century. Goodbye and see you soon.